government of Nigeria has sorted out ways to not just give the women a voice, but also protect them. One way is through the Violence Against Persons, that's VAP law, which was signed in 2015. This act prohibits violence against all persons in public and private life, but significantly addresses violence against women and girls.
The VAP Act is a very, very good act. We must help to domesticate it. We must have ownership of it, and then we should try and sensitize all government agencies, sensitize the citizens, and sensitize everyone so that they know that they have that act and is the weapon. The Child Rights Act, again, we must help to domesticate it in states that it has not been domesticated.
Individuals like Mrs. Tolu Aladesanmi has, however, not left the fate of women to the government alone. She's passionate about pregnant women, and for good reasons.
UNICEF actually says that children under the age of 5 years old, about 2,300 of them are lost every day, and then 145 women of childbearing age are also lost. They die every day in Nigeria. And there's one that's actually very sad. It's that 1 out of 13 pregnant women in Nigeria would die, either during pregnancy or at childbirth. And I think that's very sad. A lot of them are preventable. A lot of them, something could have been done about it, but for different reasons, you know, that we know and that we don't know. But the ones that we know, for instance, like I said, some women don't know when they're in labor. They're not informed. They don't know when they're in labor. So something is already happening to them. Something is already happening to their babies. They ignore it. And then by the time they get to the hospitals, it's already late. Then you also have the problems of facilities. You know, sometimes the medical centers are not well equipped. Now, the primary health centers have to be well equipped because that's where you have the majority of the women. The reason being that it's affordable, it's accessible, you know, and if the government would do something about equipping the place and then making power supply available, I'm sure that so many people would not have to stay back home to have their babies.
While a huge responsibility of making pregnant women safe and reducing mortality rate lies with the government, there are personal demands from the women.
First of all, I think you should get some good knowledge. The moment you get pregnant, in fact, before you get pregnant, you should try to find out what you can do with yourself and to yourself. For instance, a good number of women don't know that the moment you're of a childbearing age, you should start taking folic acid. That's to prepare you and prepare your womb for your baby. Now, the moment you get pregnant, you should get more knowledge. Try to find out the things that you're supposed to eat, the right kind of foods to eat, the right kind of nutrition. Then there's also the right kind of exercises that you can take to keep fit in pregnancy. Then you want to find out about the things that you should do. How many times do I have to go for antenatal? You won't believe in it that there's some people who don't believe that the moment they get pregnant, they should go to the hospitals. Sometimes they want to wait for their second trimester. They feel like, okay, it hasn't shown yet, you know, and then they want to wait till the second trimester. You don't have to wait till second trimester. A lot has happened in the first trimester, you know, that, you know, a lot of good or evil may have happened. If it's evil, it may have been averted. But if you don't go in time, there's nothing anybody can do about it. You know, but if you register in a hospital in good time, then something good can be done. You can be taught, you know, how to take care of yourself and all that. And then one thing that I also like to tell women is this. So many times women have issues, you know, in pregnancy or one experience or the other that they can't explain. And the next thing, they tell somebody else who is not a medical expert, who can't do anything about it. And then this person tells you, oh, this was what I used when I was pregnant. Oh, I drank this when I was pregnant and it helped me. Oh, I took this or I did this. And I always say that no two experiences are the same. Even for a woman who's had the baby before and gets pregnant again, no two pregnancy experiences are the same. Not to talk of asking somebody else for it. Now, they don't have the best to give you. They don't have the best information to give you. If you have a problem, you should visit your doctor and tell them about it.
Even organizations operating in Nigeria support the efforts of the government through strategies.
We have come up with a gender strategy that specifies how we need to operate within the bank and within member countries. We have a lot of dialogue with our countries, and for any project we have, gender is a big issue. In our indicators, gender is well and explicitly outlined in our indicators for monitoring projects. And so for every project, there must be clear-cut gender mainstreaming in that project. For example, if we say we're going to give loans, maybe we're going to, we may not be able to give directly to smallholder farmers. But if we're giving it to give out to farmers, then we want to know how many women benefited. Most often we say 40–50%. Though we also recognize also that there may be issues, but we insist that these things must be there. So that if they are not there, then we will stop our further funding. So we ensure that gender is mainstream even in our credit access or access to our facilities. In capacity building, when we are going to train, we ensure that women form a good number of those that will benefit from that, even in leadership. For example, if we have cooperatives that we are going to support, we want to know of the leadership of that cooperative, what is the percentage of women? If it's not so that does not reflect that society, then you can be very sure that we may not be able to give our support.
And it seems these efforts are paying off, at least as shown by some women who are into agriculture.
We find that some of them are very timid in the rural area. They are shying off. They cannot express themselves, what they really need. Sometimes some of them are involved in this cassava processing. They might need help from the state government, but how to express themselves, they could not. That's how MOSA comes in. We get there, we sensitize them, tell them what to do. At the end of the day, maybe the state government might supply them this garri frying machine, garri frying tray to use to process their garri. Then they process it and take it to the market.
My husband is somebody who likes production. So fish farming is a production business. So he did not really totally resist me. Initially it was like, how can this man morning, afternoon, evening? She's retired and she still wants to be going out morning, afternoon, evening to somewhere. But then when he started seeing the fish is coming up and things happening, and it became okay.
And it seems even the men are accepting the parity theme.
Is that something that is difficult that men can allow women do? Women and men, we need each other in a society to get the society going. And if we need each other, for God's sake, we must allow fairness, justice, and equality in dealing. Parity does not mean you are going to become a man and I become a woman. No, we all have our roles to play. And independently, we get along. It means one conscious effort and decision to give and take, because other person is as human as you are.
However, there's a special group of women, those living with one form of disability or the other, who say they have been left behind.
In most states, there are no laws protecting them. So it's about time for something to be done, and these women should be recognized, and people should realize that there are a lot of women in this country that are living with disabilities, and they too have rights. They have rights to everything. They should also be carried along in all the things that we do. These women are also the ones that are greater disadvantaged because they are looked down upon. They are not encouraged to live within the society. Most of them are ashamed, and it's about time to let them know that they shouldn't be ashamed of their disabilities, and we shouldn't even call them people with disabilities, but we should call them people with special people. That's what we should call them, so that they can feel more like the rest of us and not feel less than the rest of us.
As women are fighting for 50-50 now, we women with disability, we are not fighting for 50-50, but we are fighting for just 35. So if we have women with able body, maybe they are commissioner, and a person with disability women might be the special adviser. So everything will go along each other. So that's what we are. So we don't want anybody to neglect or stigma or anything now. We want them to carry us along, to include us in everything they are doing. Even if they are building something or they are constituting any committee, person with disability must be there. It might be man or woman. They must be, so that we can say, we can speak. Nobody can speak for us. So we can speak for ourselves.
Marching towards Planet 50/50 and hopeful to arrive there by 2030 as determined by the United Nations. The onus now is for Nigeria, as with other countries, to plug in and carry the various groups of women with their experiences, talents and skills along with a strategy to succeed. That's it for Big Story. I'm Minnie Thompson.